Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Peace, family. This is your brother, Mr. Holipsism. First thing I want to do is just state that I attended the wake of our BAIO brother Jelani, and not going to say much about that. I've put up 2 videos, but I just want to say rest in peace, rest in power, and I guess that's about it. I'm going to definitely miss that brother. But moving on to the subject of this video. This is Talking Point Smash version 2.0. You don't represent or speak for me. The most Captain Obvious statement in the world is that Steve Harvey or any fill-in-the-blank celebrity, entertainer, or personality doesn't speak for you or represent you when they have a closed-door meeting with the President of the United States, which happens to be at this particular juncture, Donald Trump. That's the problem. No one represents you. If you had a nation and a government with officials you elected into office to represent you, then you wouldn't have to worry about self-appointed leaders with zero responsibility and liability, meeting with people in powerful positions and cutting deals for themselves at your expense. With this video, I just want to touch on the schizophrenic behavior of Black African people who scream they have no representation, yet do not support land, infrastructure, and nationhood, and a system that would represent them. Because that is schizophrenic behavior. That is the double talk that I normally get from detractors and doubters. And the thing about it is they're not even aware of their double talk. Everybody want to be nationalist, but nobody don't want to be a nationalist. It makes me understand that joke that Paul Mooney was talking about when he says everybody want to be black, but nobody want to be black. It's the same mentality. We keep talking about ourselves as a nation. We keep referring to ourselves as a collective. We keep talking about what the collective has to do. But then when you get people like the BAIO who come and say, well, let's have land, infrastructure, and nationhood, then you get, whoa, hold on. You trying to leave America, you trying to go to Africa, you going back to Africa, you this. We not black, we not African, we Native American, all this bullshit. But then you want to act like you're a nation at the same time. I've had people say, oh, we're not African. The majority of us is Native American. And then those same people will talk about, well, we were once kings and queens. Well, wait a minute. There was no kings and queens in America. So what are you talking about? Why are you talking about the pyramids? Why are you talking about ancient science and technology from Africa, but yet you claiming you're American? And you can't, and there's not one shred of cognitive dissonance. You can't even sense the contradiction. But let's get back to represent like Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey goes and has a meeting with Donald Trump. And black people lose their mind. Oh, how could he meet with Donald Trump? Last time I checked, Steve Harvey was not a representative of black people. Steve Harvey wasn't elected by anybody. Steve Harvey doesn't work as a diplomat for a nation. So it's just kind of funny that you're mad at Steve Harvey for going into a meeting and claiming to represent you when he really doesn't represent you at all. So I don't understand the argument. If Steve Harvey never represented you, then why is he a coon when he goes to meet with Donald Trump? And keep in mind, I'm not defending Steve Harvey because Steve Harvey is a coon. I mean, it is what it is. But my thing is, that's like saying shrimp is seafood. Like why are people getting upset because shrimp is seafood? Yo, that's shrimp. He's actually seafood. And then we supposed to get collectively angry about this? Steve Harvey been a coon, but not for this reason. You know, this is nothing as far as I'm concerned. He can meet with Donald Trump. If I'm gonna tell you right now, if Donald Trump wanted to meet with the BAIO, we'd be meeting with Donald Trump. And you can call us coons or whatever the fuck you want to call us. We'd be meeting with him. But the difference between the BAIO meeting with Trump and just some miscellaneous celebrity or personality is the BAIO, you know what the agenda is. The agenda is land, infrastructure, and nationhood. So if we're meeting with the president of the United States, what do you think that conversation is going to be about? What do you think it's going to be about? It's going to be about land. It's going to be about infrastructure. And it's going to be about nationhood. And two things are either going to happen. Either you are going to, the United States is going to help with that, or the United States is going to get out of the way. Either way, leave us alone, let us do what we have to do, or you can help out. That's the conversation. But we know that they ain't helping out. Ain't no Trump administration or any other administration, even Obama administration, is not going to help black people get a nation. But we don't need their help to get a nation. But we'll have a conversation with them. You'd be stupid not to have a conversation with the man who leads the country that you live in. That doesn't make any sense. So I'm not mad at Steve Harvey because he met with Donald Trump. I just feel like indifferent about it because what's Steve Harvey's agenda? Steve Harvey is not a representative of black folks. Steve Harvey can represent himself. You know, so if he meets with Donald Trump because he's trying to cut a deal for himself, hey, whatever. Because he never really represented us anyway. And that's the point of this whole thing. And no, that's not the point. The point is this. You don't have representation. You don't have anyone that represents you. And you say that and you admit this, but you don't understand the ramifications of that. The ramifications of not having representation is that anybody can represent you. Any self-appointed person can come out there and speak for black folks with no vote. Nobody voted them into position. Nobody put them in any office. They just on their own can come out and say, well, I'm going this for black people. No accountability, no transparency, no liability. That's the problem. So when you say, oh, you don't represent me, it's not that I have a problem or an issue with the fact that they don't represent you, because they don't. My problem is the fact that you say that and then you don't follow that up and you don't want representation. Let me tell you something. I'm going to put a link in the description box. Wherever you're living at, just put your zip code in there and it's going to tell you who your representatives are in that area. It doesn't matter whether you voted for them. It doesn't matter whether you acknowledge them as your leader or your representative or not. Those people represent you in the government. So when I hear people say, "Oh, we don't need no representatives, we don't need no leaders," well, you got one whether you need it or not, nigga. There is someone that represents you. So my thing is, if we had a nation of our own, then when we had meetings with these leaders, be it the president of the United States or the head of any nation, wouldn't it be a lot more confident, or wouldn't you feel a lot more confident knowing that you have proper representation that represents the nation that you are part of that's meeting with these officials? That's just a question. Anyway, that's all I got to say about this. You know, we got to follow up. Don't just say shit and just to be saying it and not understand the ramifications of what you're saying. Yeah, this one doesn't represent you. Steve Harvey doesn't represent you. You know, Kanye West doesn't represent you. Jay-Z doesn't represent you. We already know this. But the problem is no one represents you. If you don't want them representing you, then it would be nice if you had somebody who actually was a part of your nation and your government that actually worked in your interest. Get with the program. Anyway, I'll holler at you good people later, and rest in power to my good friend Jelani. Peace.